Student News, this is Alicia Warner, co-hosting with Mimi Mumford, Tatiana Rivera, and Shalea Benson. Coming from St. George's Technical High School. We'll be going on a journey through the 80s in under 15 minutes, so relax and enjoy the ride.
And what do you guys have on? Thank you. What do you have on, Mimi?
The acid wash jeans with basic white shirt.
Okay. And what do you have on today?
And then Nike workout outfit with the shoes, top, and pants.
Okay, thank you. And what do you have on today?
Black and white juicy pants and lacy black tee, my mullet hairstyle.
Okay, thank you. And what do you have on today?
Some black and white balloon pants, a jean jacket, and my ski.
Okay.
In 1981 news, Reagan got shot. The attempted assassination of United States President Ronald Reagan occurred on March 30th, while leaving a speaking engagement at Washington Hilton Hotel in Washington, D.C. Ronald Reagan was shot in the chest and lower right arm. He suffered a punctured lung and heavy internal bleeding, but don't worry, he's still alive. The NASA's space probe Voyager 1 makes its closest approach to Saturn when it flies within 77,000 miles of the planet's cloud tops and sends the first high-resolution images of the world back to scientists on Earth. U.S. President Jimmy Carter signs a bill requiring 19 and 20-year-old males to register for a peacetime military draft in response to a Soviet invasion of Afghanistan. Caddyshack comes out, and also Friday the 13th. The United States Olympic hockey team defeats the Soviet Union in the semifinals of the Winter Olympics in the Miracle on Ice. The Philadelphia Phillies win their first World Series, beating the Kansas City Royals 4-1 in Game 6. This remains the Phillies' only World Series.
November 10, 1982 marks the day where every Vietnam War veteran is honored and remembered. On the 10th, the first visitors toured the Vietnam Memorial in Washington, D.C. The memorial featured a V shape which recognizes all the names of those who died serving for our country in Vietnam. Starting September 29th, there has been 7 reported deaths in the Chicago area after ingesting Tylenol capsules laced with potassium cyanide. Sony launches the first ever compact disc player, and Time Magazine's Man of the Year goes to the computer. In entertainment news, Michael Jackson releases his new song, Thriller. Rocky III tops the box office, and the keytar, a mixture of a guitar and piano, becomes everybody's new favorite instrument. The release of Dungeons & Dragons excites nerds all over, and we welcome the new popular soda, Coca-Cola. E.T. becomes the Alien of the Year with his return home attempt in the new popular movie E.T. In sports news, the St. Louis Cardinals beat the Milwaukee Brewers 6-3 in Game 7 of the World Series, and Italy beats West Germany 3-1 in the FIFA World Cup. 1983 is the year when the musical Annie was performed for the last time after 2,377 shows at the Uris Theater on Broadway in New York City. MASH ends after 11 years on air, and Swatch introduces their first watch. Microsoft Word is released, and Vanessa Williams will be the first African-American woman to be crowned Miss America in Atlanta, Georgia. Entertainment news, Michael Jackson releases 2 more hit songs called Billie Jean and Beat It. These songs are expected to be added to his new upcoming album, Thriller. The hit movie Flashdance tops the box office along with the hit mobster movie, Scarface. Households all over are tuned into the new TV show, 18 and Different Strokes. In sports news, the Washington Redskins beat the Miami Dolphins 27-17 in Super Bowl 17, and the New York Islanders take the Stanley Cup.
Denver Nuggets 163, San Antonio Spurs 155, highest scoring NBA game. January 16th, California Supreme Court rejects the request of a quadriplegic Elizabeth Bouvier to starve herself to death in a public hospital. February 8th is the first time 8 people are in space. March 5th, U.S. accused Iraq of using poison gas. In 1985 news, VH1 made its broadcasting debut, and on February 9th, Madonna's album Like a Virgin goes #1 for 3 weeks.
1986 and 1987 were both big years for America. The Nobel Prize in Physiology of Medicine in 1986 was awarded jointly to Stanley and Rita Levaminchi for the discovery of growth factors. In this time period, everything was much cheaper than it is now. For example, the average cost of a house was $92,000 and the rent was $395. An average car was $10,000 and a gallon of gas was only 88 cents compared to our $3. In 1986, the first federal holiday honoring Martin Luther King was created, and the 43rd Golden Globes was awarded to Whoopi Goldberg for The Color Purple. The Nintendo gaming system also came out. The return of Halley's Comet and the Statue of Liberty had their 100th anniversary. On January 28th, the Challenger exploded and the Ritz Theater was opened. In 1987, the U.S. stock market crashed on Monday, creating the Black Monday. Fox Broadcasting Company had its first prime TV debut. A rare earthquake of 5.0 hit the Richter scale on June 11, which affected 14 states in the Midwest and parts of Canada. The Food and Drug Administration approved an anti-drug medication called ATZ. The first criminal convicted using DNA evidence was Robert Millis in England. Work on the Channel Tunnel joining UK and France began. Civil Sinclair launches the 788 portable computer weighing only 2 pounds. In 1987, it shortened because of the Gordon calendar by 1 second. Disposable contact lenses began to be created and available for commercial distribution. The U.S. budget reached a $1 trillion mark. Also, Les Miserables is awarded 8 Tony Awards, including Best Musical. Finally, some of the popular movies that came out during this time were The Karate Kid, Star Trek, Aliens, The Platoon, Final Attraction, RoboCop, Dirty Dancing, and Lethal Weapon. Thank you for your time and your journey through 1987 and 1986.
We're coming to the end of our 80s project and we're in our last 2 years, 88 and 89. In 1988, we're in Scotland, where Pan Am Flight 103 was taken down by supposable Libyan terrorists. All 259 passengers on board were killed and 11 innocent bystanders on the ground were killed also. The Summer Olympics were held in Seoul, South Korea, and the Winter Olympics were held in Alberta, Canada. In the United States, we had the shuttle program, which restarted back on October 11th after 2.5 years off after the tragic Challenger accident, which killed many people and scarred our lives forever. In our sports category, the Super Bowl, the Washington Redskins defeat the Denver Broncos 42-10. In our World Series, the LA Dodgers beat the Oakland A's 4-1. And lastly, our NBA championship, the LA Lakers defeat the Detroit Pistons 4-3. And for our That's Random section. Too Hype by Kid and Play was released and recorded by Herb P. and the Invincibles. Too Hype by Kid and Play reached number 96 on the top 200 billboards for hip hop in this year, and the R&B charts going platinum. This album had famous hits that we all will listen to for many years from now, including Rollin' with Kid and Play, Too Hype, and Getting Funky. The Smashing Pumpkins were also created this year. The lead guitarist of a different group named Billy, an organ player, and guitarist James Awa got together and created a good vibe, and now we call it rock music. We're in the Middle East, where Osama bin Laden tried to take advantage of the first opportunity to overthrow Al-Qaeda. He wanted to overthrow Prince Tawaki, but the Saudi Arabian citizens thought otherwise. They voted him out and he could not overthrow the country. After 30 years, the Cold War has ended. The East and the West all get together in the Malta Conference and the Berlin Wall comes down. George Bush becomes president of the United States. He gets sworn in. And then in our new technology, we have the Game Boy. On the Game Boy, you can play various games like Nintendo, Mario, and other fighting games. You and your friends can connect and just play against each other. The Game Boy.